Welcome to this ship review video of the Drake Clipper. Now the Clipper is CIG's first ship that I can recall being placed in this generalist ship category, and I'm sure it won't be the last one. There is a lot to talk about regarding the Clipper, so we'll get right into it. Let's first begin with the overall specs. The Drake Clipper, considered a small size ship, a single person ship, 4 size 3 pilot weapons, 2 size 1 power plants, 1 size 1 cooler, 2 size 1 shields, 20 maneuvering thrusters, and 12 SCU of cargo. Now when considering the purpose behind the ship and the Drake brand, the specs for the ship seem appropriate in my opinion. Some may complain it needs more shields or hull HP, but I would argue it feels just right. Remember, this isn't a combat ship, and although it has a decent amount of firepower, for its size, this wouldn't be your go-to ship to deal with a tough ship combat scenario. Now, I was able to handle MRT bounty missions and yellow mercenary missions without too much stress. I think the HRT missions may be a step on the edge where you may not make it back. On the other hand, with PvP, any fighter class ship would be something you would want to avoid. You have enough hull HP to evade when necessary, but I wouldn't engage unless you have no other choice. In regard to the ship size, I would compare this to the Gatak Sulin when wings are folded up. One thing to keep in mind is when landing this vehicle, the landing gear will raise the wings up as necessary. There is no other way currently to raise the wings from my testing, and I hope that CIG changes this and allows you to fold wings separately from the landing gear. Now when approaching a hangar with this ship, since it has a wide wingspan, you want to deploy your landing gear on approach or while approaching prior to entering the hangars. One thing that is very unique about the Drake Clipper is that both ways to enter the ship are located in front of the ship, via the elevator or loading ramp. Now I love the fact that the loading ramp lets you exit the front of the ship, like a lot of familiar sci-fi ships that we know of, mostly from Star Wars. The loading ramp allows you to enter via the cargo bay, which I already mentioned holds 12 SCU of cargo, similar to the Drake Vulture, while the elevator takes you directly to the second deck, right underneath the cockpit, where you can access the top deck via a ladder. So let's go ahead and talk about design and features. The two biggest selling points about the Drake Clipper are the medbed and crafting station or fabricator. Now the medbed is a huge win for the ship and solo players. Instead of needing a much larger ship to carry an Ursa medevac or flying a purely dedicated medical ship for a respawn, now you can fly this generally purpose ship that can provide the same feature or function. This extends your gameplay session if you happen to hit a bump on the road, and this doesn't necessarily have to be via combat. As CIG continues to add more gameplay features such as toxic environments and fauna, having this medical feature built right into your ship could be clutch for many scenarios. The next feature is the crafting station or fabricator. As of the recording of this video, CIG is planning to have crafting available for testing by end of the year, so crafting will be around the corner. Now CIG has mentioned that crafting will be released in stages. The first stage allowing the players to craft weapons and armors. So with this in mind, going back to the Drake Clipper, if you're out and about away from stations, you may be able to craft necessary items on the go simply by gathering materials as you travel, creating more independence and freedom as a solo player. Per CIG, the fabricator will be using materials within the ship's cargo hold, and we can expect CIG to provide more info on this as we get closer to the release. Now as for the basic habitation features, the ship has them all: food processor, shower and toilet combo, storage, and bed for logging, with gun racks and a suit locker by the elevator upon entry. Now what about engineering? With engineering on its imminent release in 4.5, having quick access to the engineering will be vital. Now thankfully, the majority of the ship's components are located on the top deck, the same deck as the cockpit. And this allows you to exit the pilot seat and pass through the habitation area before reaching engineering. Now, the engineering area is spacious enough to handle repairs as needed and includes a very important fire extinguisher. This area also has a hatch on the floor allowing you to transfer components from the second deck where there are a couple more components and where the fabricator is located. Finally, as mentioned, this ship has 12 SEU of cargo, which is a decent amount to cover most basic needs, even some cargo hauling contracts. Now when it comes to vehicles, the only vehicle I would recommend putting in the cargo bay is the Mirai Pulse, which should fit comfortably. I was a bit disappointed to find out that the Atlas does not fit due to the entry limitations, and I really believe that the Atlas, in my opinion, would have been an awesome pairing for this ship. But like all ships, there's a give and take with everything. Overall, CIG did an awesome job and managed to cram a lot into this 3-deck design and keep a relatively small ship footprint for this generalist categorized ship. It would be hard to not see this as the new standard moving forward for most solo players, and I expect CIG to release several competitors from other manufacturers to provide more variety among the generalist category. So what are your thoughts on the Drake Clipper? I always like to read different points of views and perspectives that I may not have thought about. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video review of the Drake Clipper, and if so, please leave a like and subscribe, and I appreciate your support. Thanks for watching.